born in that swirling inferno of radioactive dust, were things so horrible.
Johnny, the Apollo moon landings. It appears that there are still people out there who think they were fake. The moon landings, what a great conspiracy theory that is. But let me tell you, Johnny, if the level of disbelief in the US, the disbelief that the man actually went to the moon, NASA actually went to the moon, if that disbelief continues at this rate, by 2054, not a fucking person in America will believe they landed on the moon at all. Holy shit! You mean no one in the US would believe it? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it seems that so that throws up a bit of a quandary, Johnny, when all the population of a country doesn't believe something that was reportedly one of the biggest things in human history, doesn't believe it actually happened.
This story, this is like a palate cleanser story for the day. This is a crazy, crazy story. But here's a question for you. Did the United States land on the moon? Just drop it in the comment right now. Just let us know in the comments field here. Did the United States land on the moon? I already see hundreds of people saying no. Okay, just let us know your thoughts on this. Seems like an easy thing to prove, right? We know the landing site. We know exactly where they apparently landed, right? Show us the landing sites. Show us the evidence. And yet the former head of Russia's space agency and certain Russian academics can't seem to find any evidence at all that the United States actually landed on the moon.
It's the conspiracy theorist refrain and something that came up in my video about dust being proof of the lunar landings. If we really did land on the moon, can't we just turn a really powerful telescope to the moon's surface and look at the landing sites? Well, no. We don't have telescopes that powerful, and even NASA's Hubble Space Telescope can't resolve the lunar landing sites. But NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter can see the landing sites, and we can compare the images captured by this spacecraft to maps NASA released in the 1960s and 1970s that show the astronauts' traverses around the moon. Like Apollo 11. This first and most famous moon landing was NASA's most conservative mission. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin spent about 20 hours on the moon, just 2.5 hours of which they spent walking around. Just 2.5 hours of which they spent walking around. This image from the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter lines up with the map NASA released in the Apollo 11 post-mission report in 1969. We can see the lunar module's descent stage, the disturbed regolith north of the lander where they set up the camera and flag, which was knocked over when they launched from the moon's surface, the footsteps leading south to where they set up their surface experiments, and the path they took to the crater east of the landing site. We can compare these traverse maps to orbital photography for all the Apollo missions.
But Johnny, what do you think happened? You're a wise son of a bitch. Give me your opinion. What do I think, Johnny? Well, I think after bloody hours of continual research, watching thousands and thousands of videos on this very subject, I've come to the conclusion that on that fateful day back there in July 69, when we're all sitting around the TVs, what we were actually watching mightn't have been happening live at all. It might have been filmed 3 weeks ago. So, Johnny, are you saying that the US did actually go to the moon, but what we saw on that special day, that very special day, what we saw on that special day had actually been all filmed and put together fucking weeks before?
Don't be so fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm saying that the blokes, Neil and all them, they went to the moon, they did all that sort of stuff, they fucking did this and did that, so the actual moon landings happened, but what we saw wasn't live.
Okay. Take a picture this way and then we'll flick it around so they can see the television. Alright?
Well, Johnny, all that you've said just then sounds like fucking bullshit. Got these moon rocks. Don't forget you got these moon rocks, Johnny, in the Jet Propulsion Lab in the US, stored there in this glass cabinet. Yeah. And if you say they're not moon rocks, well then you're saying that all the bloody geologists, the thousands of geologists that have looked at the moon rocks, can't tell the difference between a fucking moon rock and some rock will get out of the fucking Colorado River. When you've got evidence that somebody went to the moon, somebody got something and brought it back Otherwise, all the geologists are fucking idiots. Yeah, surely a geologist can tell the difference between a fucking moon rock and something found in the bloody Colorado River.